Hey Steve, you lost a little weight. Have you lost more weight or slim?
No, this is one of these shirts that's dark. It makes you look thin. Why have I took my headphones off?
I don't know. I can still hear you.
I do like I can't hear you.
Yeah. You do look proper thin.
I've even got a body warmer today.
Oh, we got a gilet.
Oh, is that what they're called?
A gilet.
They said that in the shop. I'm like, what's a gilet?
What's a gilet?
I thought that was a blade.
Yeah. No, that's a Gillette, man.
Oh, yeah,
Yo,
Hiya,
I'm Betty Ball.
and I'm Stevie B.
He's a Mackham.
And she's from South Shields.
And this is Speak Up Sunderland.
Betty, how would you describe Speak Up Sunderland?
Huh?
Like, if no one's ever heard of us before, what's our podcast all about?
I would say Speak Up Sunderland is pretty much a platform for anyone who has something to do, lives, breathes, talks, and loves Sunderland. That pretty much is what it's about. With a bit of crack from me. The best part being
A bit of
me.
crack. I don't think we should really. I don't think really that's the correct term, but yeah, go on then. I know what you mean.
Mint crack, man. I mean, I've got a mint crack.
You've got-
mint crack.
I mean, crack for one thing, and I don't think you should have like mint flavoured.
Crack on.
And then
Crack on.
I know. Oh, help me, somebody. So basically, anything Sunderland and everything Mackham, and we're really keen to promote the work of local bands, singers, musicians, songwriters in Sunderland too as well. This week we're meeting two members of the band Picnic. They're a 7-piece jazz pop alternative band based here in Sunderland.
Stevie,
Aye.
what did you think of Picnic since you're banging into local music and stuff, and I'm still freshly squeezing the shenanigans, and your head nearly popped when they came in?
I've got this thing about local music, and to be literally sitting in the next chair to someone in a studio when you don't know what they're going to sing, you don't know how they're going to perform, and then when it clicks in the way it did there, it's just like you hear, like how you like Disney.
Yeah.
It's like seeing like magic dust.
It's just that same magical raw talent.
It is. It's a
amazing.
magic that happens with music, and when it's that good, I mean, we said when just
Picnic,
have an
by the
acoustic
way.
guitar.
Picnic was here, by the way.
Robyn and Eddie were in, yeah, from Picnic.
I'd never heard of them. I've played them a couple of times on Spark, but I've never physically met the band, where Stevie has, and Stevie's seen them played live. So his head popped as they came into the studio, and I was like, oh, you're cute. So very different reactions, but very, very good. The talent was amazing, and they are from right here in Sunderland. You never know who's here. Yeah, you never know.
I love. This is why I love music generally, but when it's live and then it's that good, and you're within like 3 feet of it as well. But her voice with a guitar played so well, it was just magic.
But you know what made it even better is, as a person, both individual and as part of a huge band, because there's 7 of them in that band, and there was only 2 of them there. They were lovely, humble, down-to-earth people. It just goes to show that being so talented and being so fresh and new and right in the scene, because these people are very well known, they still are very much grounded and very normal, and that is quite hard to find, especially in this industry. So that's a massive unique selling point for these guys, and if you do stick around, you will be hearing some amazing talent coming up soon, and it's one of my favourite songs.
Well, Betty likes the song, but she loves the words as well. If you when you listen to it, try and listen to the words as well, because the words, they're also very good lyricists as well. They write some great songs.
Emails with details, share cocktails with females. Last night sunrise on my mind. Slurred conversations on urbanizations. How about one more glass of wine?
So, okay, we'll just go for it. Right, so we are here with local band Picnic. We have 2 out of the 7, the rather important ones though. Who do we have?
I'm Robyn, I sing, I'm the singer, I do all the front woman-y stuff.
Eddie, I'm one of the guitarists. I do all the guitar-y stuff.
You girls are all I need. 'Cause I'm so done with Steve. Don't think I'll bite. We need a never-ending girls' night. We need a never-ending girls' night.
The story behind Picnic's quite a good one, isn't it? How did you guys get together, since there is 7 of yous?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of us, isn't there? It's rather a lot.
Yeah, it was me and Robyn that started it, just out of wanting to make a band where you could kind of go and dance to.
On the day that we decided we were going to do something was we were watching, do you know Made in Tyne and Weir?
Yeah.
the garage thing that they have on there where they get bands in, and Smooth and Terrell were on the garage, and we were like, oh well, that's something cool, like it's something a bit different, something a bit like funky and groovy that you can kind of dance to a little bit.
I had a few songs anyway.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something, but saying that, I was kind of encouraged us to get the brass involved and get so many people in. And
Yeah,
then
it
that
kind
night
of
we
made you
kind
realise that it was possible, didn't it, when you saw like all of those people on that tiny little stage,
Yeah.
which is what we've done ever since.
Last night.
How long have you been together now then?
we
Been
started
together
in
over
the,
3 years.
yeah, we started in the summer of 2015, and then we sat in a practice room for about 6 months.
We didn't leave that practice room for a whole 6 months. We slept there, we
Yeah,
got
didn't
washed
keep.
there.
Yeah, and then we gigged. Our first gig was in January of 2016, so we've been gigging like
We
2.5
didn't really want to
years.
do anything until we were happy with how it sounded. We didn't want to like rush anything, so we just made sure we took a good amount of time, which turned out to be 6 months, to get everything ready.
We had the songs and we were like, we're just gonna play through them and see until we can get them as tight as we can.
Yeah, it was very lucky that we all got on.
Yeah.
First of all, like, because that when you get so many people in one environment, it's not always going to work. It was very lucky that everyone liked each other from the word go, because
It helps if you don't really leave a room for 6 months,
Yeah,
though,
oh
doesn't it?
yeah.
Oh, we were forced to. Really.
Yeah.
What was it like, say, like a couple of hours before, like doing your first gig? What were the nerves like, and what were you thinking about? And
That's the most nervous I think I've been for a gig. Well, it's the most nervous I'd been before that, because I never really got nervous playing because I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But this one, it was more a case of I'd wrote the songs and we'd spent so long doing it. I was being judged a bit more than if I was out playing covers or playing someone else's songs. It's like, if people don't like them,
It's a lot
you
more
know,
personal, isn't
yeah,
it, when it's
I
your own
was just
stuff.
playing bass before, so it's like, it's not to do with me if you don't like the songs. But when I was there, and I think there was quite a lot of people packed into a small room, and everyone was looking down on you the way the setup was. It was like, if 2 minutes in, because we were quite different to a lot of the bands that we'd been and seen and that our mates were in, and people who came to see us who were in like punk or rock
Indie
bands
rock
or indie
bands,
bands, we were a bit like, we don't know how this is going to be received at all. So it was kind of the first few songs were a bit nervy, but people kind of took to us and were really happy with it, and then we got some good feedback at the end.
Yeah,
So.
it was very encouraging.
I think I was shocked
For a
really,
show.
because I was kind of expecting to come out and people to be like, yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but crack on.
I want to be your everything. Want to leave an abyss when I'm gone. Go to the zoo, take off our clothes, protest everything that's wrong.
So being a local band and being quite a successful one, do you find the local music scene is really competitive in Sunderland, especially having places like Pop Rex and things like that?
I think like the Sunderland scene, there's not as much as you would think, in terms of, because there's like a couple of venues that are amazing, and then that's kind of that's there's a couple and that's it.
The Sunderland
So-
scene, which is annoying when we're from Sunderland and we're one of the bands that say that we're from
Yeah,
Sunderland.
like we identify as a Sunderland band, because there's more bands than you would imagine that are from Sunderland, but are like, oh yeah, we're from the northeast. They
Oh,
just
that's
don't
from
buy.
Newcastle.
But we actually identify as a Sunderland band, because I think it's quite important.
The Newcastle scene's leaps and bounds ahead of anything Sunderland's doing.
The
at
Newcastle
minute.
scene's leaps and bounds ahead of anything in the country, I think, at the minute. I think it's insane. The Newcastle scene,
which
it's
really
amazing.
annoys us. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be like that, and I've kind of been in denial about it. But
I think it's definitely getting better since we started. It's definitely improved.
I think it's just promoters and people in Newcastle seem more up for live music at the minute than Sunderland. I think from playing in Sunderland and Newcastle, I've done a lot more covers gigs in Sunderland and played a lot more bars in town and went down really well, as opposed to playing original gigs around Sunderland that haven't really, where you'll go and play the same set the next night in Newcastle and people will just come out for a good night to come out and
just
see
like
you.
they'll say there's a band on and then they'll just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whereas Sunderland, it's kind of like you get your friends and family there.
Yeah. It's harder. I mean, there's still some really good bands that have came from Sunderland.
Oh, massively. Like there's
Like-
one at the minute, Roxy Girls. who-
I've heard of them.
Oh, they're amazing. They're
Roxy
so
Girls are
good.
class. I mean, you've got like Future Heads, Field Music,
Yeah, Field Music are like
Vanderbilt
one of
from
my favourite
Sunderland as
bands.
well.
The 901s. Love the
Yeah.
901s.
But all of them rarely gig inside of Sunderland
Yeah.
because other than a couple of venues, there's not much you can do.
There is some amazing talent though, like coming out of Sunderland at the minute. Some of the bands that are like that, again, Roxy Girls, they identify as a Sunderland band, which is like amazing because they're so good. Like they are amazing. They're one of my favourite like northeast bands at the minute. And they are quite like the Future Heads, aren't they? Like they're kind of like the next generation of the Future Heads.
Like the first
Yeah, it's like
Future Heads
it's if the Future Heads have just had a baby and it's the Roxy Girls. It's really cool. It's so good.
Something that I've heard for a good 10 years now is you hear a lot of like A&R men and record company people saying that Northeast is where to go. It's a hotbed of like local talent, which I love. I would agree, but I'm obviously going to be biased.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like we're definitely biased, and I'm not even going to pretend that I'm not. But like I was saying before, this year's Evolution Emerging, that's the first one that I've ever done, and it was the 10th anniversary. So of course it's going to be like bigger and better than any of the other ones. But I could not believe how many bands. First of all, how many bands there were, and secondly, how good everybody that I have a blog and I did a write up, and the idea for my blog was that I was going to do like a highlights of my day, and that I couldn't do it. Like I literally had to write something about everyone that I saw. I had to do just like a rundown of my day because I couldn't narrow it down at all. Everybody that I saw was just amazing. The Northeast at the minute, I think we're doing something. The one thing for me is that like I love to see other people doing well. It's not a case of like, oh, I'm a bit nervous because there's another band that are doing quite well. It's like, oh, that band are doing really well, let's go over and talk to them and make friends and like say like get tips, even like see what they're doing, what can we do better. But it's not a case of like I'm looking over my shoulder. It's literally just I'm really pleased that there's someone from around the corner from us that is doing really well.
I would disagree slightly.
Would ya?
As much as I like to see people doing well, you kind of
I just think it's
you want to
really
look around,
inspiring.
and if you go right, they've been about a couple of years and they're doing much better than we are. You do have to sit there and go, why are they?
It is all like right place, right time.
Why
isn't it?
are they doing more? Because a lot of the time it is a case of you just look and you go like you can't see on the surface, but underneath they're doing a lot more work. Because I think it was the same with us a couple of years ago when we started getting some good gigs in, like the Dave Stewart thing and stuff like that. I think people did start looking around who were about for a lot longer than we were and going like, well, how come they've got this gig ahead of us when we've been gigging here for 5-6 years?
There's nothing wrong with a bit of healthy competition, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you want to make it, you've got to put the graft in. It just does not come naturally. It
Definitely.
does not come easy. So the fact that you guys are doing as good as you are and as successful as you are, it means the hard work and the brain power and the time and the effort is paying off.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you guys should be so proud of and should be shouting about, because these things don't happen overnight. It really, really doesn't.
It's like having another job. This
It's like having a-
Honestly, I'm more stressed about this band than I am about my actual job.
It shows that you care.
Oh,
So-
massively, yeah.
So you've got a guitar here, which I'm very excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be playing some songs for her?
I
We
can
are.
do, yeah.
If you want.
I've got a little cup here if you want to stick some change in.
Now, simmer down.
We'll do Bath Bomb first, which is
Ooh.
a track off our EP that were released a year ago today.
Yeah, it's exactly a year old.
So it's a happy first birthday
Yes,
to
it
Bath
is.
Bomb. So then,
Totally on purpose as well.
Why did the words bath bomb put a smile on your face?
because it's such a random word.
It's a
for
petty
a
word. It's two
song.
petty words, isn't it? Why did bath bomb? See?
It's a
Oh, you
song-
mean a bath? Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, it's
See, it's not a man thing.
there
Then.
you go. It's a song about like trying to keep positive and Yeah.
I cannot remember what it's about.
Oh, I can't. I have to sing it every time, so I do remember what it's about.
I'm just going to try and remember the chords.
It's yeah. So like when you put a bath bomb in, it goes to the top.
And it goes.
Yeah.
And it changes colour. It's
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah. That's what
Yeah.
that's about.
Aw,
That's kind of profound. I didn't know
that's
that.
dead caddy.
Oh, okay. Shall I introduce it?
Yeah.
We are picnic, and this song's called Bath Bomb. Keep being posed with problems calculators can't even solve. Say eyes your eyes above them as if they don't know that I'm a bath bomb. Haven't finished anything I've started since I was 16. Since my desire to read departed, since dead was nothing but a bad dream. Could you be the one to help me help myself? 'Cause I'm so sick and tired, always feeling sick and tired of everything. 'Cause I just wanna be a 90-year-old in a 19-year-old's body, still not knowing why I say sorry all the time. Keep
I have to clap with that.
Thank you.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
coming in goosebumps again. Your voice is amazing.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
And your fingers move really fast.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, actually, a quick question. Why are you called Picnic? What a very random name.
I get asked this all the time, and there isn't really a very good reason.
We just had a much longer name.
There's a couple, and all of them just happen like that. Always just seem to be like the common denominator.
Yeah, we had like picnic in it, and then
So
we were like,
oh,
well, let's
take
just take that word.
It's not a very cool or interesting story, but that's the story.
Yeah.
That is the it's not that bad, but
If ever you have like big merchandise, though, you can give it away in a picnic basket, couldn't you?
That is.
and
good
have like
idea.
a picnic blanket with picnic on
I
it.
know,
I'm
we've-
sorry, I'm just
With
very
like
cheesy
the
on
quote,
that.
with the quote, have yourself a picnic.
we haven't milked it enough yet. We've
No,
still
we
not got the
haven't.
sponsorship with Cadbury for picnics.
I know, we
No,
should-
exactly.
That's what
Oh,
we should
yeah.
be doing. That is what we
Man, if
should
you're
be
listening,
doing.
Cadbury's, come on.
Yeah.
Have you heard them?
If you've got a
Amazing.
better chocolate bar, we'll have that because
Yeah, picnics aren't that great, but like,
We'll take it.
yeah, if we're gonna get a sponsorship, we'll have it.
All
I
the
mean-
money we make, because we make money from gigs. We do now. We've got to the point where we don't really do many gigs that aren't paid, because we've got expenses and stuff that we have to pay. But all the money we get just all goes into one big account for the band, and we use that for recording, touring, sorting everything out for shows.
There's a lot of outgoings that, like, if we took money from the gigs, we would just have to put that money back in at some point anyway. So it's kind of counterproductive taking anything from it. We just kind of have a big pot and we put it all in there.
The main
And
the
use
main
it for
kind of thinking
merch
is
and
within
stuff.
music, you've got to do covers for money.
Yeah.
That's everyone I know does that. I mean, I know like people will say like, "Yo, you don't have to. You can go out and do it." But the reality is, if you want to make money and you want to survive by doing music, you've got to be gigging at least 3-4 times a week, doing covers, in bars around the northeast, and be able to drive everywhere. Original music at the minute at the local scene, it's I don't think it's ever been a career in terms of like money making from the start. But
Unless you're like doing really well from
yeah,
it. Then
I think that the people that do really well as well are people who do it for years without making any money.
Yeah.
Like Catfish and the Bottlemen's the one I always come back to, who are huge now. But for 10 years they stood outside Arctic Monkeys gigs and Oasis gigs and busked their own songs until
Like
they kind
Flyed
of
and stuff.
until they got picked up, and now they are making money for it. But for 10 years they made no money at all.
So do you think having the love and the passion for music
You've got
is
to.
the way to keep yourself going, to
Yeah.
keep yourselves motivated?
There's
Because
literally no other way.
You pretty much spend as much time as possible together.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, right at the beginning, you stuck yourselves in a room for 6 months and didn't leave. Now, being with the same 7 people for 6 months in one room. Yes, I know you like and things like that. Yes, you probably went home and stuff. But physically, every single day, knowing you're going to be in the same room with the same people doing the same songs until you get it absolutely spot on is going to be mentally and physically draining.
Yeah, you've
But
got
to
to
stick it
love
in.
it. I think even if you're not doing it every single day, there's no point unless you love it. Like there is literally just not a point.
I think it's the gigs that make it worthwhile. Going out and playing live and seeing people kind of singing along and dancing. If we didn't have that, we'd probably, because it just wouldn't be worth all the stress
Yeah.
and everything. But it 100% is when you go out and say that and you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, we
and
had a show
everybody.
on Friday. Just gone. It was like we put this whole big show on ourselves at Think Tank in Newcastle. It's a really good venue. Yeah, it's great. But we put, because we've had a bit of a rebrand recently, so we wanted to have like a show to kind of symbolise that. And we put on this show, and we were kind of hoping that we'd sell a few tickets and it would be like a good night and whatever. And it literally, we couldn't have had a better time. Like, it was the best night ever. It was so good. There was probably about, I'd say, like over 150 people there, and everyone was just having a good time and dancing and singing to our songs, and we had the best night. So it's like night like that. I'll be buzzing off that for like the next month. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll do another show that'll be really good, and that is what keeps you going.
Happiness is subjective, it's everybody's main objective. The time's been chasing it is often time wasted. Nothing stays fresh forever, no matter how you preach. Eternal love will always search for something better. I know it feels like you're all alone when it seems like every other bird has flown. The next star gets to Jesus, so definitely makes sense. What is next?
I don't have to look at you when he's playing. You can see he's enjoying what you're doing.
Oh, we love it.
And I think if
we
you
do
carry
love
that
it.
through, things will happen.
Yeah. Hopefully.
High, isn't it?
Yeah. It is like I don't think I could be happy, like 100% happy doing anything else than
No.
this now. Now, like, when you know how good it can be, there's I don't think I could end up in another job where I would be as content and happy as doing this. And it's like it is. There are obviously logistical things that you've got to look at and stuff, but I am happy earning the bare minimum for the rest of my life as long as I can survive and I'm doing something that I want to do. Then I don't really mind that much as long as I can live off it. And that's all I can ask for.
Refreshing
Really.
to hear, because there'll be loads of people that, especially young kids now, are getting drilled into them from a young age, going, you need to make money, you need to make money. In schools now, I think it's year 8 or year 7, they have to choose the options to get into a certain place,
That's
into a
nuts.
certain time, and because they're getting more stressed at such a young age, and they're
Yeah,
getting
it is
the fun and the
hard.
youth sucked out of them.
Yeah, it's
So
difficult.
for you to say this, being so young as you are, both of yous, to say, I don't care, as long as I can get by and I do exactly what I do, and chasing your dream and chasing your passion is definitely something you should be screaming and shouting about,
Yeah.
and telling people, and especially kids and the younger generation, it is all right if you want to be a musician, it's all
Yeah,
right
oh,
if you
yeah.
want to be an artist.
There's such
you
a
can
stigma
make
around it,
it's
yeah.
hard, but it is happening, you can do it.
When your parents aren't really, because I think a lot of the time you go with your parents, you're like, oh, I want to be a musician, and they're like, no, you're not. We're like,
I understand that.
Oh,
because I
absolutely,
think the
because-
stigma is that there isn't many jobs. That's the thing that annoys us the most when people talk about it. Because I've studied music for 5 years, and I know loads of people who work in music and have jobs. And it's when you tell them, like, oh, I've got a degree in music, they're like, oh, well, you know, you're walking into a steady job there then, aren't you? And all this. And it's like, well, no, I know plenty of people who do make a living from music, and there's a lot more jobs in it than people think. I think it's the same as any other profession, really. And I know people probably would disagree, but the amount of jobs that are within music that you can do, in production, making sure a show goes on, playing, doing covers, stuff like that. If you wanted to work in music and you wanted a career,
yeah.
you can. It's not like this impossible task, because I know, like, people in Sunderland, I can rattle 5 off the top of my head who their job is to go out and play music, and that's how they survive. And I think it's like some fairy tale land of like, oh, well, you can't do it as a career, but you most definitely can. It's the same as any profession. The harder you work at it, the further you're going to get, the more money you're going to earn. You're going to get what you put into it, out of it.
I know it feels like you're all alone when it seems like every other bird is blown. There's sadness you deserve, self-deprecating pity sex. What is next? This is strange warfare. You ain't got no always letting down. This ever increasing slow. Your hand is in the cookie jar, my friend. You took us way too far. Two broken hearts, one teacup of rock.
We're playing the O2 Academy.
Oh, we are, yeah. We're playing with the Daniel
Wake.
Wakeford Experience in October. He's a guy. He was on the Undateables, and he has a band now, and he's got autism. So it's like the whole experience. They've put this band together, and he writes it. He does everything himself, and it's amazing, and it's so good. And he's on a UK tour at the minute, so he's doing like ridiculously well for himself. So we got asked if we would support him at the Newcastle the O2 Academy. So we're doing that on the 10th
of October.
Can you buy tickets now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
you can.
from
will
the
be able to.
Academy.
If you check our Facebook page,
Yeah,
so
yeah, it'll be
all
on the
all
Facebook
our social medias, Picnic Band UK.
Yeah, it's all
So at Picnic Band UK, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything like that. It'll all be plastered all over there. So
Yeah. We are Picnic, and this song is called Girls' Night. Emails of details, share cocktails with females. Last night's sunrise on my mind. Slurred conversations on urbanizations. How about one more glass of wine? Last night it didn't even think about the lyrics. It was like, I was singing it, I was like, I'm so done with Steve. I was like,
I know. Is that what I heard?
yeah.
That
That is the
I'm
lyrics.
thinking no, she wouldn't have sung that.
Yeah, I was like,
Because I heard it and I thought, no, that couldn't have been that, but I'm
That
keeping it in
was
my head
that.
anyway. And it is. I'm like, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Whoever Steve is, God.
Well, lad.
That song is absolutely incredible.
That's one of
I've
the new
never heard that.
ones.
That's your new.
Yeah,
What are your
yeah,
new ones?
that's one of
Oh
the
my
new
God, I'm
ones.
such a
We
fan.
literally got the last mix of it back last night. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
like that's how new it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Who wrote that?
This guy.
You're so done with Steve. So tell us what Steve did you then.
Should I leave now?
What did Steve do to you? I'll smack him if you want.
think
Yeah, usually when I write, I've never wrote like from my perspective. I'll just write it from. I'm thinking of.
think
That was
it's
just thinking of just
angry-
like a housewife. Yeah, who was kind of just.
An angry housewife.
I'm
who's-
sure there was a
Sick of a
line of
husband.
all these young girls with what was it, their cash
Those-
cow husbands
yeah,
or something.
yeah,
I was
those-
like,
Yeah.
that's class.
You heard right.
That is really good. Like
Thank
if you
you.
physically listen to the words you say and the melody that goes with it, it's just like. It's like you're talking to you. It's like you tap into your brain and you're just like, oh my God.
It's a big girly anthem. I could see.
It is amazing.
Is the song was. Because I try not to look when you're playing because I want you to just, do what you're doing. But I could see Betty was just going like that. She's just growing and growing.
But I was,
Right
but
next
it's
to me.
almost like I could relate to it because every girl's had their heart broken.
Yeah.
And every guy's had their heart broken. And it is a nightmare. And you're all just like,
Yeah.
go away. I
There's a
just
bit
leave
of an
me
anthem,
mates.
that one, innit? And when like you hear the recorded version, there's a bit in the chorus where it's like girls' night, girls'
Oh, yeah,
night,
we've
and
got
it's like
a chant
shouty,
going
and it's
on,
like a
so.
chant in the background. And that's I think it kind of sums up the whole song. When we do it live, people just kind of shout it back at you, and it's like, oh, everyone's a bit angry about this, but like in a good way.
But it is, that's exactly what that
It's like
song's
channeling
about.
it into something else. It'll be on Spotify.
Oh
It'll be on. We'll be probably put it on Bandcamp, even though no one really uses it
Yeah,
now. We'll
Spotify,
go on
probably
there anyway.
YouTube. We're sorting out a video at the minute.
Well, it was lovely to have you, and I'm a big fan. You have
Thank
gained a new
you.
fan. And that last song you just played is probably my anthem for the next
Oh,
6
good!
months.
I'm so pleased. Thank you for having us.
Well, on my part, I was already a fan, but I'm a huge fan now.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
thanks very much.
And on a Sunderland point of view, it's just I'll always be a born and bred and proud Mackem, but I'm just bursting now. Like
Oh, good.
Oh, jeez.
That's
Keep
Because
going,
it's-
guys. Please keep going.
you won't stop
Keep
because I
getting
won't let you.
Sunderland a good name for local music.
Yes.
Keep picnicking.
We
Thank
certainly
you.
will.
We will. We'll never stop picnicking.
Never-ending girls' night. We need a never-ending girls' night.
As ever, if you want us to cover your stories, please do get in contact.
Or you can just get in touch and have a chat if you want.
We're on Twitter at SpeakUpSun,
Or you can search for us on Speak Up Sunderland on Facebook.
and we would absolutely love if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars. That's
Only
it.
5
5.
Only 5 stars.
5.
And that's it. That's it from us this week.
Is it?
Aye.
Oh, next week we've got,
Oh God.
because he volunteered himself.
Oh God. Yeah, I've
Hasn't
just
he?
realised what it is. Oh.
It is one of the best upcoming Speak Up Sunderlands you will ever listen to. And you know what makes it even better is you can get involved.
Can I just say one thing about it? I won't reveal anything, but I am genuinely scared.
It's blooming brilliant.
I'm petrified of
So
what
I'm
could
going
happen.
to tell you what's going to happen to Stevie next week. We are going to get more Stevie B tattooed at Superfly, but there's a slight twist with this one. You have the deciding vote. We have got 4 ideas. 1 tattoo that Stevie's created, 1 that his wife's created, 1 that I've created, and then the final tattoo is all down to you. The way it works is, the more votes on 1 tattoo idea, the one with the most votes gets plastered on War Stevie B's back.
Forever, can I just say?
And ever, amen. And it is all in the power of you.
Can I just mention there is one stipulation? You've allowed me to have one.
1.
One only.
This has been recorded, so it's 1.
I want nothing Newcastle related. Nothing Newcastle Football Club.
So that's 1.
Not really anything
That's
within
1.
Newcastle. No, but I'm expanding on it.
Okay, expand.
Nothing like, because obviously this is Speak Up Sunderland. I'm born and bred Mackem. I'm a born and bred Sunderland fan. Nothing Newcastle. Anything else I'll accept because I've got no choice.
No. So, get your brains working. You never know, you could even have a picture of your face on more Stevie B's back. However, we have already started prepping him. And if you want to know what we're talking about, you need to get yourself to Facebook at Speak Up Sunderland and find us on Twitter at Speak Up Sun to find out the preparations what Stevie B has already been
I am so
through.
scared. You're going to video this as well, aren't you?
I certainly am, and I can't wait to share it with you. Because it's going to happen. All thanks to Superfly, Will's Tattoo and Heaton.
Hetton.
Hetton.
Heaton's Newcastle.
Oh, right, I'll do it again. And this lovely event is all thanks to Superfly, Will's Tattoos in
Hetton.
That's the one.
Hetton. God's sake, woman. Hetton.
Bye.
See you later.
Tra.
I'm going to lock myself in a cupboard.
No, you're not.
I am, so she can't
Remember,
find
go to
us.
all the social medias and we're going to stick you with a needle and we're going to lick it.